Let's go check on this old bulldozer here. Oil's a little bit down, not a ton. This thing here's an old two-stroke diesel, Detroit diesel, and it's got the blower on it, which is right here. Intake comes down, and it's oily and disgusting. I believe it's 1968. I got this thing for super cheap off of a farmer there that was just trying to get rid of it, and I needed something to clear stumps out, so that's why I bought it. I need to clean out the undercarriage there, but I gotta find the hose for my pressure washer at some point. Maybe that'll be in the next couple weeks, hopefully. But yeah, the farm I bought this from, they use this thing for logging, clearing land and whatever. They had 300 and some odd acres, so we got a winch on the back here with a bunch of chokers here for doing logs and stuff. But I'm just gonna fall these trees where I need to and deal with them then, turn them into firewood or whatever. I'm not doing like a vast amount of cleaning. I already checked the fuel in here. It's probably about halfway on the tank, so got lots of fuel. Just check the oil. This thing also, I'm not sure if it consumes it or if it leaks it, but it uses coolant one way or another too, so I'm going to add some coolant now, and then we'll be ready to fire it up, push out a few stumps, and not sure where I should start. I'm kind of feeling like I'm going to go around on the back edge there, and I'm going to try and clean up along that edge over there. So let's go get some coolant. This is not washer fluid. This is just a jug I use to mix it. That'll have to do. It's actually worked out really well. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it there. Can you see the, yeah, I think you can see it there. Anyways, coolant's right up to the top of the rad. That's a good thing. I've made videos about this thing before, but the deal with it is that it's, I just want to have this thing long enough to clear the land in this little spot here, which is where I want to build my future house. And it just has to last that long, and then I can sell it. So hopefully it doesn't break down until then. But it's pretty wore out. It's got an automatic transmission in it, and you usually only get about 20 to 25 minutes of runtime before this thing overheats the transmission there and it won't move anymore. So I usually just run it till it starts to feel like it's really slipping and struggling, and then I try and park it somewhere kind of close to the well, somewhere accessible anyways. But I'll give you just a quick overview of how you operate this thing. You have your lever here for, this is up and down, so pull it towards you is up on the blade, down on the blade. This here's your throttle up, throttle down. And if you push this lever in, it just interlocks into the lever for shutdown. So you can have into a shutdown position. And then the gauges are iffy if they work or not sometimes. You got your, okay, let's go down and start down here. Your decelerator pedal here. So by pressing this pedal down, it will essentially push down on the throttle to decelerate so that I can shift gears. This here is supposed to be your brake. I don't have brakes, it doesn't work, so I'm going to use that. This pedal down here, it tilts side to side, and that allows you to tilt the blade this way, that way. It actuates that cylinder right there, which all it does is it pushes that cylinder out, which causes the blade to do this whatever way I need to. On this side, under here, we have our gear selector. So it's there's a H for a high, I for, I don't know, intermediate or something. I'm not actually sure what that means, but that's the middle gears. And then L for low. This side is reverse, this side is forward. The W, I believe, is for the operating the winch, I think. Makes sense. But yeah, so like you're supposed to stick it into this neutral locked position for starting. So the middle here's neutral, your forward gears, your reverse gears. These levers here are for on the winch as well, which I've never actually used the winch, so I don't know if it works. But yeah, and then these two levers here are for your steering clutches. So it turns by releasing power to one side or the other. So if I'm driving forward and I want to turn that way, I will pull down on this one, and it will disconnect this side so that this side that's driving powers me forward, and then I turn. So you steer with these. Got a night switch here. Try to prevent the batteries from dying, but they are pretty much garbage and are dead anyways. Chances are we're going to have to jump this, but we're going to try first, see if we can get it without that, because that'd be really cool. This thing pretty much won't start without some kind of ether or starting fluid, so it's old, it's wore out. Battery's on. This is my momentary switch for the starter, and I'll just couple sprays of ether if it turns over. Dead. Sometimes the battery cables are just a little bit loose. The lead in them is so gone that you try to tighten them down and it just starts breaking them. So at some point I'd like to get some new batteries, but they're expensive because it takes these big 4D batteries. They're quite long. These ones do work sometimes. Let's see if it'll turn now. Nope. Gotta go grab the tractor. We'll jump start this thing. This next portion of the video here is a little bit unedited here. Just gonna have basically start to finish of all the work I completed this day. This is just like not super important to get done now, but I like to get the once in a while get the bulldozer running and make sure that it's still working and clean up a little area here. But yeah, this machine is old too, so I try not to work it too hard because I do want to be able to finish the work I need done with this before it either breaks down on me permanently or beyond the cost worth of repair. But it seems to do the job pretty easily anyways, but I figure by the end of the summer I should have this, I'll call it the home area cleared out. Like I probably said before, this is roughly 4 acres here, which is big enough for a house and a yard. And then it's right next to the pond there, which is nice. So when they did the logging in here, they left a bunch of junk in there too. So unfortunately, it's not just all stumps and sticks and whatnot, but there's quite a few rotten or, well, broken down 5-gallon pails in here, and odds and ends of different things, I guess, that would happen or be used during logging. Like, I'm not even sure what the parts are, but little metal pieces here and there probably from machinery and whatnot. There were a couple totes a while back I found, but anyway, so it's not the nicest stuff to try to walk through either, because it's fairly dangerous that you can fall through the piles of sticks and whatnot too. So flattening this all out, eventually plant some grass or clover and stuff in here, so it'll be a nice upper lawn area here away from the house, and then that little ravine that I end up pushing all the stuff into will slowly get filled in a little bit so that it's not so different in elevation, make it a little easier to navigate to the other side there. So I was super scared here about falling into the pond, because from the upper area where I'm working right now down to the water level is about in areas it'd be 10 feet down, on the higher sides probably 15 feet down. And if the bulldozer went down there, I'd have to pray that winch could do something, because even with that, there's not a very high chance I'd be able to get that bulldozer back out. So that's something we don't want to do. Maybe if I brought in some other equipment or something, but it's just a big pain. So I'd do my best here to just skirt the edge without getting too close. You can see the ravine here that I drove through at the beginning, and I'm kind of pushing everything down in here now. This is a spot that I want everything to kind of decompose, and then I can deal with it at a future time there. Something about running this equipment that's just like brings you back to being a kid. You just you're like playing with your Tonka toys, except in real life kind of thing. It's like kind of like a weird like throwback to childhood memories, except that now I'm doing it with a purpose, and I know that it's bettering me and getting me towards my goals by doing this work. It makes it feel all that much better. Probably gonna get a comment or two about my safety Crocs, and maybe my lack there of PPE in general. I mean, I got the noise canceling earbuds there, which they do just as good a job as my over-ear muffs. They just don't make me sweat as much. And then, I mean, the Croc thing is just like, you know, typically this kind of work gets done on my weekend. I'm just kind of hanging out and doing whatever. If I actually had to do maybe a little bit more intense like mechanic work or something, and I'd be, you know, lifting or moving heavier, more dangerous parts, maybe then I'd consider maybe a steel toe or a boot or something. It's also nice to get this kind of work done when like this is kind of like springtime still, so there's a lot of those trees there don't have any leaves and stuff. I can actually see what's kind of going on around. At time of posting this area is all grown in right now. All those little trees there full of leaves and everything, so it's hard to see or do anything, so makes it a little more difficult to kind of see the terrain you're working with or what kind of logs and stumps are hidden in there. Also, the cooler weather in the spring makes it a little bit nicer to operate the equipment. Typically try to do my best not to do any steering while I'm pushing. Unless I'm pushing lightly, I might do a little bit of steering, and then you know, you don't have as much push power obviously with just one track going. Another thing that I got to be aware of while I'm pushing the dirt around here is that the other little, you know, cut off logs and everything, or small little pecker poles and stuff that are left in the ground there, they can shoot up pretty fast and head towards the cab or operator seat there, and they can be pretty sketchy. I've had a few close calls there with trees come swinging around and smacking the poles there in the front, but now I, you know, when you're pushing forward, you're trying to keep an eye on the bottom, obviously, because you don't want to be scraping too deep, but you also got to keep an eye up top, above the blade, to make sure you don't just have whatever other kind of logs coming in to get you. Another consideration when operating this machine is that the tracks there, I don't know what they call them, the cleats or the treads or whatever on the tracks there. They're obviously just bars going straight across, and I don't have any like grousers attached or any other kind of side to side support there. So when I'm going up and down into the ravine here and any kind of slopes like that, I got to make sure that I'm fairly close to straight up and down going forward and back. There was a few times in the winter there when I was pushing snow around, and that's probably worst case scenario because of the ice and everything and the ground being a little harder. But I got a few times there where the machine would end up kind of drifting sideways on you, and then you'd have to either use the blade to try to correct you, push a corner down, or do your best with the steering clutches to try to keep the unit from going completely sideways down a hill, because that can get pretty hairy pretty fast. Another reason why I don't typically do this every day is that the seat on this unit is pretty wore out, also old design. Like there's not a lot of cushion there. There's enough that you're not just sitting on the bare steel, but the fact that there's that cushion is the only form of suspension I have. This can be pretty rough on your back, hopping up and down over top of these bumps, and every big vibration from a stump, or a little dip in the ground, or you flip the machine a little too high, they just reverberate straight through the back. So if I were to operate this every day, it would be a little bit harder on the body. Not that I'm super old yet, but I try to do my best to prevent a lot of damage if I can. The unit was slowing down now, so I figured it was time to park before it dies on me. It's not bad for probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes of work. It's really hard and it's kind of scary to go over here because you don't want to fall down and disappear forever. It'll be really nice when I can actually build like a little dock or something out into the water a little ways. But anyways, it's a decent chunk. I'd probably say I did about a good sixth of the area that I got to clear out here. And it's not perfect. Like we got lots of sticks in here still, right? That need to be dealt with. Mainly I'm just trying to get rid of as little of the earth as possible. I'm trying to keep the earth here because it'll be good for the ground, so it doesn't go straight down to clay. But I want to get rid of the stumps, right? So some of the ones near the edge here I'm not going to bother trying to get with the bulldozer here because it's just a little too sketchy. I mean, maybe I could get that one if I kind of hit it, and then I don't know, I must probably just push it off the edge. Those ones I'll have to dig them out with the backhoe at some point. But at least I was able to come along the outside edge here. Kind of push. I started running out of steam right there, so I gotta finish pushing that down. And I'm just gonna try and push most of it, because like they obviously left most of these little sticks and stuff here is from when they did the logging in here, right? Just all the branches and small trees and whatever. So my thought is that I'm gonna push it all down into this ravine that runs through there, and then I'll let it decompose for some years and see what I have at the time for earth moving machine. I mean, ideally I'd like to get rid of that one and get a smaller, little bit smaller, but yeah, you can see a few spots here I kind of went down a little too deep, went straight to the clay down here, but I want to keep a lot of this organic matter in here if I can. It's not easy. I'm not very good with that machine either, but I think next time I'll clear that piece up. I might go over by the truck over there and then clean that little area over there, just over this way, push it all over there, and then I'll probably just continue on from here. I'll just keep clearing this area, probably get this chunk done next time, then I can work on that corner over there. There's some big stumps over there. These trees here are all pretty much dead. I guess that one there is kind of alive, and that one there is trying to be alive too, but these things just constantly falling over and whatever, so I'm probably gonna like push them over. I guess it doesn't really matter what direction, and then I'm gonna pull them probably with the tractor up, then I'll turn them into firewood or whatever. It's like still good firewood. Some of the ones on the ground I probably should do that too, but that's we'll see. There's a stump I pushed out a while ago. Okay, so that's that for today, and then now I gotta see, let's see here. Oh yeah, I was gonna do some cleaning today now. So that'll be the next one, I guess. Do a little bit of cleaning, then I gotta go run into town there and grab the kids and stuff, so. Do some tidying. I guess this will be it for this video, so we'll see you on the next one, I guess. I don't know when, just whenever I post it. So, thanks for watching.